and they've shown they can play these champions. They're fast rising in the meta on patch 5.15.
That's right. So we go into picks and bans for game 2. KOO versus KT, and KT trying to tie it up. There's the Azir ban against Nagne.
KOO and KT staying on the same sides that we saw. It looks like some preference here for the red side, perhaps for KT.
I guess so, yeah. And they do have the higher seed coming into this.
So Callisto will be the ban. Now, do they ban the Vayne? I'm not really afraid of Prey's Vayne. If we just look historically, Prey has never really been a Vayne player.
That was a strange ban from game number 1. I feel like if you're going to ban something away from Prey, ban the Ashe now.
I think this time, honestly, they're looking for the first pick victor, KOO Tigers. They passed over that champion in the previous draft. I'm expecting the adaptation of the Ashe ban. I don't know if Ashe is a first pick champion for KOO, but they've surprised us plenty of times so far in their run. So just interested to see where this draft goes in the final 2 bans.
So there's a Rise ban against KOO as well. So that's going to open up a few more things. And the thing is, the score got elites last game, and it really didn't seem to matter because they kept Peekaboo in lane. They never let that score Peekaboo combo that's been so strong for KT even really happen.
The score and Peekaboo take over the games, and then someday an Arrow come in the late game with the team fighting.
Lulu ban.
Wow, okay, so
really?
A lot of adaptation bans. Now suddenly a lot available in this pick and ban.
Well, the Vayne, I don't really see why that was banned in the first game anyway. The Fizz going out, it is a flex pick for the KOO Tigers. Now we know that they can play it in that mid lane, and the mind game's doing a little bit of work. We wondered why they were playing that Fizz, showing it in the last one, but after that flex pick comes through, all of a sudden KT uses a ban on it in game 1.
The mind games have been so real, just from the fact that we've seen so much KOO Tigers. Suddenly you're KT. They're a good Shen team. Some days not going to be looking to that Shen because of the performance from Smeb on the Shyvana. Suddenly, Fizz just ringing through the heads. Is this going to be something that this team's going to use against us? Might be a first pick Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai did work last game and scores Rek'Sai. By far his most played jungler this season. He's been really on form with the Rek'Sai. It's going to be denied away.
Yeah, looks like they will pick it. Yep, it will be locked in. All right. Do you think you pick away the Ashe for KT?
I don't know whether Arrow can play it.
We don't know if Arrow certainly hasn't shown it. Arrow's been very top heavy. His best champions he has looked wonderful on. Kog'Maw, Sivir have been by far his power picks. We haven't seen the Ashe, but maybe this is one of those unique situations where if you can't play the Ashe, it really hurts your draft.
Yeah, but the question now is, we see the Braum flashed over. That's a great way to stop the Ashe. Go ahead, block that arrow with the Unbreakable, take it away, and someday we'll be locking in the Fizz early on, so they're not going to take it, but they will pick it early alongside Elise.
Okay. Man, picks and bans have just changed so drastically, it seems like, across the board here in Korea since 5.14 came out. 5.15 certainly adding to that as well, too.
KT were in a unique spot where they could lock in either Fizz or Yasuo and be flexing both those picks. They've committed to the Fizz. Suddenly makes it difficult. Fizz is considered a lane counter to mid lane Yasuo, so maybe it's just to dissuade any Yasuo picks from Kuro.
Could be.
There's also the possibility that KT takes the Yasuo if they see the Ashe coming in, just to block some arrows. Now, Nagne hasn't been playing Yasuo recently, but historically, back on his Najin Blacksword days, he actually did play a fair amount. He's 2 and 3 on the champion all time, but it does exist as a possible flex pick for KT Rolster, as we may see the Kog'Maw and Alistar locked in.
So I'm really excited to see the Alistar. This is a champion that Gorilla is 7-0 on for the season, but hasn't been able to play or hasn't been picked in the last 11 series they've played.
He's not only 7-0 on the season, he is professionally undefeated on Alistar in his career. I believe he's 9-0, I'll check on it just a second, all time on that support.
They moved away. It was actually the battle of the undefeated Alistars previous to the last game. It was 7-0 versus 4-0 on the season. Peekaboo obviously losing on that champion. Now the Alistar comes back in the playoffs for Gorilla.
It's actually 8-0 for Gorilla all time, so mostly playing it this season, but still one of the few champions with that many games that has been undefeated for these players. Janna Vayne may be the combo, but KT, I think they need some wave clear.
Well, they're going to go with Janna Corki, it looks like, theoretically. Thresh Corki. maybe the pickup instead. Looks like that's what they're going to go with. So there's some last-minute change.
Peekaboo hasn't been scoring the respect bans. This is by far his highest impact champion. Rooted in lane as Alistar, a champion that usually has playmaking potential. They will look for a lane up, or they will look to free up the Thresh from Peekaboo, because this guy, whether it's the level 1 players or the roaming play in general, is super impressive.
Okay, well, Yasuo has been heavily banned against the KOO Tigers. They have a lot of knockups to synergize with that champion right now. Will they be bold enough to take it?
Malphite Yasuo, come on. Summon Bronzodia. Let's do it. That'd be Malphite Victor. And KOO's Victor is, of course, very, very strong. It's something that's been surprisingly neglected in our first 2 games so far, but maybe not this time.
They don't have a lot of dive synergy with the Malphite. Of course, Malphite Alistar is basically the ultimate wombo engage unit, but doesn't really put it together. Now, Someday doesn't play a lot of Rumble, and Smeb has played a lot of Rumble. It's one of the reasons why, despite the fact we think of both these players as carry top laners, the fact that you play a lot more Rumble compared to a champion like Maokai or Shen, which is more Someday speed, means that you often pick up those higher damage numbers, and he's going to go back to the Rumble. Hey, look, it's a Rumble Trinity Force AD carry Dragon Control team from the KOO Tigers. This is the return of the KOO Tigers we know and love.
It's a very high damage team. Wow. All right. KT down to the last pick.
Question is, with the Azir and the Cassiopeia banned out, do you go back to this Diana up against the Victor? Could be difficult. You would have a lot of pick potential with Fizz and Elise and Diana. Huge amounts of single target damage, the Thresh too. But that would be a difficult composition to run.
What about the Ahri?
Could go Ahri here. That's
Ahri
definitely
would provide a lot of kill pressure.
Yeah, Ahri would be good here. And looks like the Diana might well just come through again. Nagne has long been an Ahri player.
Yeah. I think the Diana fills a lot of those same purposes, though. I mean, you can still provide a lot of kill pressure onto the Victor.
Honestly, though, Victor with Exhaust does deal with Diana pretty well. Credit to Kuro, who really shut down any of the skirmishes that Nagne was looking to put out in Game 1 on Diana. Will he go for the teleport again? Because honestly, the combat summoner seemed to really warp the 1v1s between that pick.
I think you have to go for the teleport because you're running a pick composition through and through. This is not a composition that will successfully 5v5 KOO's comp, all things being equal in the late game. They have to make moves on the map. They're set up for some very nice tower dives with this composition, but it's about attacking early and trying to snowball on some very strong split pushers. Strong 1-3-1 with the Corki to hold the mid lane while Diana and Fizz go to town. But they have to get their mid and top lane rolling.
I mean, the thing is, too, is that KOO Tigers are traditionally a very hard team to dive. They're a hard team to gank. And so picking a pick comp like this may be just making things even more difficult for KT.
KOO's going to be playing around the Dragon. That's going to be their big wing initiative. They've got the Rumble Victor have a lot of control around that objective early. They can get going in terms of Dragons. It's going to be hard unless KT can really wrestle back some ward coverage. If they fall behind in wards with a pick comp, it's going to be much the same story as Game 1.
Yeah, very true. So as the game is loading here, KT looking to tie things up. If they go down 0-2 in this series, I think it's going to be tough to climb out, especially if we see the same level of play and decision-making that we saw in game number 1 from the KOO Tigers. It's going to be intense either way, guys. Here we go. Game 2, KOO Tigers versus KT. Will we have a tie after this? Let's find out. All right, welcome back to Summoner's Rift. KT Rolster versus the KOO Tigers. And the fans, of course, showing up in force today because they know the team that moves on will move on to the grand finals and have a very good shot at getting to Worlds.
Or just getting to Worlds
in fact,
if you're KOO.
They just get to Worlds, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they will lock in their space, and we won't know who's going to be first and second seed, but regardless, we will see both KOO and SK Telecom there. KT without very many points, only getting 10 circuit points in the first season due to their poor performance and the fact that they didn't make playoffs. They really need these points because even if they don't win the finals, even if they don't lock in that first seed, you want points so you don't have to play as many best of 5s in the gauntlet.
Of course.
Isn't it fun to be optimistic after these last, 6 or so games of the KOO Tigers about watching KOO Tigers at an international event? I remember when I came over for the spring finals, people were saying, we really want to see SKT win this match just because we don't know if KOO can really represent on the world stage after their IAM Katowice struggles. And then partway through this season, we were hoping, okay, don't really want KOO to make it because it feels like they'll get found out. They've only really got one winning strategy. Don't really want to see them at Worlds. Suddenly, though, 6-game winning streak. Okay, it's only 6 matches, but this team that we're seeing that's comfortably dispatched, CJ Entus, Najin, and now taking a game off KT, does look like a team that's ready to make it on the international scene and play in a high-pressure environment.
Yeah, absolutely. One other reason why we're talking about KOO is they just didn't look very strong coming in. And Peekaboo doing his little tricks, walking into lane at level 1, but this means he will abandon Corki. No lane swap, duos in the top side. Peekaboo now here gets a ward down. They actually do something. He needs to get back up into the top side.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit too tough for Arrow up there, and yeah, you're not going to be able to do too much against Rek'Sai Rumble. I think that's a dangerous duo to try to 1v2 against at that blue buff.
It's a strange world where you're rushing to get back into a 2v2 against KOO Tigers, who have never been about the 2v2, but this redefining themselves in that way in the postseason.
I'm really curious to see if Peekaboo can make a difference here, because we talked about already. The big problem, one of the big problems anyway, for KT last game is that Peekaboo never really got to get out of lane and never got to kind of become that vision-controlling duo with Score, but maybe on Thresh, maybe on his best champion here, you can do it.
And we know what KT look like, how they play when they get deep vision and they play around anybody else. They contest smartly. Score and Peekaboo are both very smart, both about placing vision and playing around it. They just never got to place it, so the second part of that was not relevant in game 1.
Yeah, and there's that huge win rate for Gorilla on that Alistar, undefeated 8-0. But Peekaboo on that Thresh is certainly no slouch as well, too. So really, it's cool because we have both of these supports on their best champions here in this game.
You have the choice between the Janna, which is the best 2v2 laning matchup, and the Thresh that can provide the roam threat. He picked the Thresh.
Oh, hi. Score turns around onto Hojin. Hojin, that was a bit odd. They ran right into each other, and he's in a lot of trouble. Where's the flash? There it is. Can he get away, though? One more Cocoon will do it. Hojin trying to get away. Where's that cooldown? Can he burrow back into the Dragon Pit? Smeb, there's a Cocoon. It lands, and first blood goes to Nagne. Someday taking a bit of damage on the way out, but Smeb can't push this. Not with 3 members of the KT Rolster team right there. Flash from Kuro. Peekaboo flashes, gets a flay. There's the death sentence as well. And now Kuro in a lot of trouble. It's going to be a double kill for Nagne out of that fight. 2 kills in total. And Peekaboo already helping make plays. KT already in a bit of, or KOO already in a bit of trouble.
And now we're going to see what happens when KT gets ahead. Smeb playing a little bit aggressively right here. There's a high possibility this will be a dive.
Well, good flash from Smeb to avoid it. Wow, he avoids both CCs. Now, Someday was baiting pretty hard. Smeb had to burn the flash, but he was kind of ready for that.
Peekaboo went on a massive journey across the map, made his impact felt, though splashing over to the Raptor camp to pick up the kill, or help pick up the kill onto Kuro, but that was all started by Hojin going for the aggressive move, face checking an Elise on level 3 Elise. Patch 515, the damage is real.
Well, just didn't see him because he was standing still in the fog of war, so he was quite surprised, but that Elise damage cannot be underestimated. Easily winning the duel against Rek'Sai and Score catching up with the help of that red buff.
It almost looked like he wasn't looking at his monitor or something, or looking at his position on the map at the time when he went in.
I mean, how often at level 3 with the Tremor Sense do you not see someone when they're around? It's just one of those things where
very true.
He was invisible literally because he was burrowed and then was surprised to find the Cocoon and almost certainly imminent death.
It's a bit of bad luck.
Don't know how much credit Score gets for that one, but he worked out.
Yep.
And look at this. Here's where it starts to go right for KT in a lot of their games. Get the kills, the wards start to go in. And now this Corki able to play more aggressively. It's opening up the map for Peekaboo as that vision starts to be placed more aggressively for KT Rolster. They're going to try and dive.
Yeah, Someday could be in a little bit of trouble here. He's got no flash. He took Ignite this time. Goes back under turret. There's the exhaust. Nagne coming in. Kill, though, already for Someday. They're turning it around. Smeb and Hojin on the run. Someday backs off. He is low health. Can you be careful? Never mind. He's going back in. Forget being careful. He wants the kills. Hojin gets low, but it doesn't look like KT is going to get anything else out of this, not with KOO coming down.
Now, they saw him running down from the pink ward, so smart disengage from KT. Someday nearly dies, but they had to pull back. They don't get greedy, but KOO trying to make a play when there's a teleport on the mid laner. It's not really a viable option, but this might
Nagne, they managed to catch him. Gravity Field comes back in for the kill. Nahojin doesn't quite get it though, or does he? No, Peekaboo gets one. And Nagne, is he gonna escape? He actually is. Equalizer goes down, and Someday barely gets caught by Smeb's Equalizer. The fight goes on though. KOO and Gorilla are gonna be safe under that turret for the moment, it looks like. I don't think you can really dive that. No. So kills on both sides, but still goes much, much better for KT.
And this series so far has been dictated off of teleport ganks. I mean, that's all there is to it. And KT now with a 1.5k advantage and a 7-minute dragon look like they may be in a healthy place. They can't really do this right now, though.
Yeah.
Just gonna have to yank out on the lantern.
That's right. And meanwhile, wow, Arrow gets really low. Prey nearly picks him off.
Already used his flash and heal, so couldn't follow the flash from Arrow. Prey is winning the 1v1, but not in any big sense. It's only a couple of CS ahead, but the things that weren't working for KT, specifically the teleports, as you mentioned, Monty, coming up a plum, and whenever KOO has made the aggressive move, they've been punished.
This looks so good for KOO at the beginning moments of this, but then the teleport came in for Fizz.
Yeah, and that's it, right? Fizz had a chance to get back and then use the TP. KOO was not actually counting on having to deal with the Fizz in that situation, but KOO making a blunder right there. They didn't account for the mid TP, then they didn't account for Smeb's TP after he barely escaped from their dive.
Peekaboo trying his best to freeze the wave as much as possible, literally yanking it out of the top lane just to try and help Prey out. Of course, he wants to back, pick up his items, got the components of a Phage and Sheen. Will there be any semblance of normalcy? Because KOO was definitely on the accelerator the moment they got ahead in game one, and KT, they have to do the same thing here.
Yeah, well, they've got a good start to it already. I think the crucial thing is that Dragon wasn't able to be taken by KT.
Peekaboo has been unleashed on the map and already made his presence felt.
Pretty much. So he does. Remember, this guy, Peekaboo, is the original roaming support here in Korea. He was really doing that style of play before anyone else was here. Jungle. Looks like he's going to move in a little bit here. Peekaboo, there's a lantern for score. This time, there's no joke. Whoa, it didn't work, though. Couldn't take it in. Teleport coming for KOO as well. KT could be in a bit of trouble. They're going to teleport Nagne up to that top lane as well. Peekaboo trying to escape. They're going to jump on to Smeb, and he will nearly go down. Can score, catch him. Meanwhile, more action on the top lane. Prey tries to get the kill on the Arrow. Can't get it, and that's 2 kills now for KT. KOO just cannot seem to get any traction in game 2.
And KOO finally gets that item shop in awkwardly as Nagne is teleporting top and making the difference in the skirmish. So really punished for his bad item timings. And KT win another skirmish crucially and jump out to an over 2,500 gold lead at 10 minutes.
And here's where it gets really scary too. 3 Sheens now for KT. Let's take a look at that score. Can't quite get to the lantern in time. Now Arrow is going to try and Valk out, try and get back behind the Diana. Smeb getting low, and Peekaboo, you know, he will flash out at the last possible second. Score sent to clean up Smeb with that execute, and then Diana taking care of Prey in the top lane rather.
Yeah.
It's the little things though, Monte Cristo. It's the fact that even though the gank wasn't quite as smooth as it could be with the way the lantern interacted, the fact that it happened exactly when Kuro was just walking out of base means that, you know, you take teleport as a mid laner, you leave the lane, you expect to take significant turret damage. He was not punished in any way, shape, or form by Kuro.
Yeah, not yet. KOO's got quite the mountain to climb to come back in this one, although, I mean, I don't know, how worried are you for KOO at this point? Because they still have a very strong late game team comp, but KT is getting such a big early lead. How close is this game really?
Not very, especially because the number of Sheens that are coming through from KT means that their burst damage and their ability to dive turrets, Smeb's TP is down, Someday has his up currently, they always seem to have that global, so I would just push turrets and dive. You're going to get into a situation where you have 2 Trinity Forces completed at similar timings for KT. And the 1-3-1 when that happens is going to be absolutely brutal.
The panic stations start when the dragons really start to come through for KT, because when it comes to the split push, remember, Smeb, he's on the rumble. He's built for team fights, not necessarily for laning phase. He will be run over by Fizz in most situations. So if they have the dragon advantage and the split pushing advantage, that's when the panic stations really start for the KOO Tigers.
Well, KOO really doesn't have any vision out on the map right now. I mean, they've only got 1 ward past River, and KT was able to take that dragon, you know, without KOO really even knowing it was going on until the end.
Laning phase felt like it ended so quickly. Peekaboo was able to roam. The aggressive deep wards that the standby of the KT Rolster organization, they've been all over this red side jungle for what, the last 5 to 6 minutes, ever since that Peekaboo roam happened at about 4 minutes into the game. And it's back to the same old KT that showed so much success in the second half of the summer season.
Yeah, definitely. As we took a look at the gold right there, Nagne about 2,000 gold ahead at 13 minutes, but with that perfect kill contribution so far, he's definitely been the major player on this KT team. Certainly we've seen some flash out of the boo, but it's been Nagne whose TPs have been on point.
I don't get this carrot trident thing. What are you going to do? Like, give him good eyesight?
Yeah, they can see in the dark better afterwards.
I guess so.
It's actually, it really helps against Nocturne.
Someday's a nice guy, man. He's helping people out.
Kuro is forced back, and this is what happens when it's Nashor's Tooth Diana. Your turret instantly explodes, and the pressure just continues for KT Rolster.
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, I don't even know how you find a place to have a good team fight if you're KOO Tigers right now. You're just not going to be able to set anything up. This is a nightmare scenario for anybody against KT.
Yeah, and this is where they're strong. When we talk about KT, it's like you give them a lead early, they will close on you. Someday will get 100 CS over the enemy top laner and start to dominate that matchup. And if you get ahead of them, well, they've shown they can come from behind with 3 inhibitors down, from 5 dragons down. They are very resilient, and of course they're not going to win all those. They did get blown out in the last one, but they have some staying power.
Yeah, pretty much. Another turret falls, lead grows. 4,000 now for KT Rolster.
They're ahead in every metric, though. In the late game, they have the Diana, who will do so much scrapping damage that might start to equalize. The slight mismatch between Kog'Maw and Corki, Diana will make up that damage. Already, the 1-3-1 is going to be monstrously strong with the double teleport lineup, and both Fizz and Diana can easily dispatch Rumble when he tries to split push with the teleport. So,
catch on to Peekaboo. They're going to take him out. KT with no response. Box used as well, too. So there we go. Finally a pick coming in for the KOO Tigers.
Went for one of his warding missions solo, only got down 1 ward and died. So that was definitely a misfire from Peekaboo.
Well, they got the teleport out, though, which is yet another thing that Smeb is not going to have for the next dragon fight. And sure, they got the kill, but was it worth it when there was no follow-up objective to use that TP? I say absolutely not. And the TP, let's see how that is punished, because KT can really start to dive aggressively now. Both Trinity Forces are done. KT in the midst of an enormous power spike at the moment.
Screw the Trinity Force much, because look at Nagne's items. Abyssal Scepter, Nashor's Tooth at 15 minutes. That is an unbelievable amount of power. This Diana can 1v2, 1v3 with ease.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to try fighting it. I don't think the KOO Tigers do either, and that's going to mean probably a pretty easy dragon for KT when it comes back up again in the next few minutes or so. Meanwhile, more wards going down. There's Score and Peekaboo together again. Dynamic duo.
Score and Peekaboo
reunited.
Were never really on the same screen in the early game in the previous match, only in terms of team fights and skirmishes. Now they're on their warding missions. It's no coincidence that KT's return to form.
It's interesting how the first couple minutes for each game really has determined if these teams can play the type of game they want to play. And both teams seem to be such as that if they don't get to play their type of game, they fall apart relatively quickly. What do you think?
I think that's pretty much always been the KOO mantra. They've always been about babying their way through an early game that's been up and down. It's definitely been on form, and maybe that's more than a coincidence, been part of their renaissance in the recent games. But this is pretty much the KT that we've come to expect in the last couple of months.
I think for me, KOO has found themselves in this situation with some frequency, but the main problem is that the way KOO got back into these games was by playing around Dragon, and that's just not going to be an option.
Nope.
Smeb's TP is down. How do they stop the triple pressure coming in? They've already lost 2 of their turrets, and frankly, KT doesn't even have to care about the next dragon. If KOO decides just to group on that objective, they should just keep split pushing and start to threaten inhibitors.
Yeah, they could pretty easily take mid-tier 2 or top tier 2 if KT, or if KOO rather, does want to go for that dragon, but...
And how do you just fight for the dragon when you don't even have a teleport on Rumble? You can't. That's the big issue, is that getting champions like Twisted Fate, which, okay, they dealt with very well, all these double TP champions like Diana has been used very frequently by GodV and other Diana players. It's an extra thorn in the side of a team that, as Monte Cristo mentioned, has always highly prioritized Dragon as a solitary and main win condition.
Yeah, very true. The lead continues to grow for KT, and Monty is one step away, further away from crying salty KT tears, deceived once again by their supposed good play. It is good right now.
Yeah.
What do you know?
It's been great.
Cheers and joy.
They played well in the last game. In spite of being so far behind, you could see that they still had the right idea of what to do in those team fights, even as they surrendered.
Oh, yeah.
So not falling quite so far behind early, definitely, and very obviously helping them out.
Well, I mean, that's why they surrendered, right? Because they did get, like, the perfect team fight, and they're like, well, if we can't win that, there's literally no way we're going to win the game. So, yeah, good teleport there. Oh, Smeb gets caught in the jungle here, and wow, quick kill for Someday. Is he going to pay for it, though? Poachin coming in. Doesn't look like he will, and the assassination's coming in for Someday. KT takes the second dragon. KOO Tigers continuing to look like they're in a lot of trouble. I mean, maybe they can get this blue buff, but doesn't even look like they can get that.
KT are going to contest every single blue. They've been contesting the red off spawn the last couple of times. They control this jungle, and I don't know if we'll see a surrender from KOO, but it's basically the same situation KT found themselves in the previous game, where hope it's mostly gone.
Well, I mean, if we go to like the ultra late game, 6 items on both sides, which I don't think we're going to get to, but if we do get there, KOO can win a team fight theoretically then, but like I said, I don't think we're going to be in that situation. But I think that's KOO's only chance right now, right? Is to just try to stall until 6 items, right?
Even then, it's not good because 2 teleports are extremely strong in the late game. You can just always play the map better than your opponents, and there's no answers on KOO.
Yeah.
They have no answer to stop even one split push. Rumble's not going to do it, and they have to deal with both Rumble or both Diana and Fizz. It's just it's not going to work.
KOO is driving the car without any breaks. Only KT can decide if they want to stall this game because they're the ones that set the pace. They have superior 1-3-1. They have the 2 teleports. KT will play this game at the pace they want to, and KOO, they're getting dictated to. So they don't really have any way to initiate fights. They don't really have any way to force objectives, even fight at dragons, just because they've never even been in a position where they've had teleport for that objective. So unless KT decides to be very benevolent this game, it's theirs to lose.
So you said KOO's getting dictated to. What book do you think KT is reading to them?
I have to think about that one for a while.
Everybody poops. I think that's what KOO might be doing this game, guys. Just saying.
The classic work of literature.
The classic work of literature.
One of
right
the pinnacles
there.
of Western civilization. Yep, they're like, it's okay, guys. Everybody has games like that. You beat us in game 1.
Coincidentally, that might be extra applicable because pooping is what the words the Korean use for throwing.
That's true. That is true. They say the team took a poop. Yep, so there you go. Your lesson in Korean scene, League of Legends terminology, jargon, vernacular, if you will.
It's actually often used in trash talking.
Yep, that's
here
true.
in Korea. It's not considered bad to say that.
No.
They talk about toilets a lot from what I saw.
Because of that.
Yeah.
Because
sense.
of that.
Oh, can they catch arrow? Nope, they can't. Hype averted.
You like to dodge the hype every now and then, Dylan?
I did. I knew if I didn't, you will. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna kill my own hype this time. I'm not gonna let Monty do it every single time.
Great.
Because normally, if I would say,
we're working our way to a thoroughly hype-free cast now. I'm excited for this myself.
I'm developing my solo casting skills here. All right, it's Baron time for KT, and what's KOO gonna do? Well, they're gonna take a turret in bot lane.
I mean, this is a really good three-man unit to take the Baron because they have percent health damage coming in from a couple targets right there, and now Nagne going to try and zone this out. They'll easily get this.
Yeah, they will get the dragon. They're very low health. Gorilla slowed up by the box. Nagne going to flash away there. Oh, this could be bad. Kills coming in. Baron was taken by KT. KOO gets a couple kills out of it, though. That was a very, very dangerous moment for KT. Probably the most dangerous moment they're going to have this game.
Yeah, but still a smart call. Okay, they lost a couple of members, but crucially, they didn't lose any of their wave clear.
Yeah.
And they have Baron buffs, so they're going to have to face tank this turret. Maybe there's a turret that they can get out of this. Looks like they will, but that's going to be it. That's it, though. There's nothing else they can do.
2 turrets, 2 kills. That's not actually a bad trade given how far behind KOO were in that situation. Remember, they didn't even have any ward.
But the problem is, this is where you don't want to give up. We'll talk about that in a minute as we take a look at this Baron. It does get very low.
Good box from Peekaboo, of course.
Yep, and Gorilla just going to break the hook
boy.
with the ultimate to get back into the pit. That was a nice play from Gorilla to make sure that he could turn that into something. But one of the reasons why we don't see a lot of that 1-3-1 split push is because it is hard to fight around an objective like Baron with a composition that is weaker in team fighting. But if you can get the Baron, guess what? Double teleport with Fizz and Diana is extraordinarily strong. So even if you lose a couple of members, even though Sumday's not going to have this Baron, this is still where you want to be with this composition.
Gets him a bit of gold back. The experience also, because Someday and KT were very much over-leveled compared to KOO. Might be significant. I guess it's fortunate that they don't have Nagne split pushing if you're a KOO fan, just because we have the lack of the Baron buff to really empower Someday's split push.
Peekaboo's in one of the most fun moments you can ever be in on Thresh or like any grab champion where you're so far ahead you can just start throwing grabs in across the wall. You're like, well, if I hit somebody, we'll kill him.
Ooh, that hurts. Equalizer has to be dropped on the tower. Someday going for a pure damage build straight into Blade of the Ruined King after the Trinity Force. So pure split push for Someday. He's going to take a couple extra tower hits right there.
Able to do some decent dirty farming though, and he can always Playful Trickster away, although that means he has no slow. Pushes the ult onto Hojin, slows him up a little bit. There we go, Smeb slowing with the harpoon. Someday goes back in. He'll get caught though, having to use that Playful Trickster to get out of turret egg or really cost him, but KT responds with 2 tier 2s, so really didn't end that badly, did it?
They don't care if Someday dies right there. It is totally irrelevant to their strategy. They're still going to be able to probably position their way to a third dragon when it spawns in 5 seconds. At the very least, they can scrap out long enough for Someday to be able to TP to that fight.
The 1-3-1, just so powerful. Trinity Force, Fizz, Nashor's to Diana. You can never leave that mid lane if you're Kuro, because the only safe spot to wave clear. Everywhere else, any sort of transition, you're going to be caught from the pick of the likes of the Fizz ultimate, Elise Cocoon, Thresh death sentence. So Kuro can only wave clear in mid, and they don't have any other wave clear on the team, so the turrets are just going to keep stacking up, the Dragon's going to keep stacking up, win condition after win condition, fully realized by KT Rolster.
And when this Baron starts to spawn again, it's the Diana passive with that attack speed constantly proccing. They're going to have 2 Blade of the Ruined Kings and 2 Trinity Forces. That Baron is going to die nearly instantaneously.
KT, they want that last tier 2. And they'll probably get it. No Baron buff anymore. But again, it would need like a flawless team fight from the KOO Tigers to be able to stop this one. get an easy red buff. And then back down, probably. KT really doesn't need to be in a big rush here. I mean, they can wait till the next Dragon, they can wait till the next Baron, they can just keep pressure on all the lanes. And KOO Tigers, I mean, they've been fighting to survive. It's like they're pushing a boulder uphill, and like every couple minutes, KT just kicks it back down again. And KOO can only push it up like half as far the next time. Eventually, that boulder's just not going to move. It's going to roll backwards onto him. That's going to be the end of the game.
And I think that's how the myth of Sisyphus went.
That's exactly right.
Eventually, he didn't keep pushing that boulder till the end of time. He actually was crushed and died.
Yep, KT about to be crushed by the old Sisyphus boulder. In a reference surely everyone will understand.
I don't care. I liked it.
Hey, man, we're in the same wavelength there. It's fine.
Nagne adds the Zhonya's to his motley crew of items. KOO have to overextend so far up the map just to get any sort of objectives. They're spotted out by pink wards.
I can't remember the last time they've had a ward past river. I think they will. Well, they're going down the bot lane for a little bit here anyway.
Remember, they have 2 teleports. They can double down on the split push.
All right, someday.
Okay.
Doesn't want to check the brushes. Too many people there, and it's like they will beat back most of the damage onto the inhibitors, so they actually do a good job of taking something without any reprisal. As long as the Corki and the Thresh were in the bottom side.
You know, you could say someday might have been able to be a little bit more aggressive there, but again, why? You know, why do you need to be? You've got this lead. The only way you can really blow it is to be overly aggressive. So better to take the 100% chance to win in 10 minutes than the 80% chance to win now, right? That's, I mean, the golden rule of playing a good game in nearly any sport.
Yeah, that's definitely what they want to do, and it's much more important to them that they get Baron control now and make sure they maintain that vision, because that's the big objective that they're looking for to close. Again, the 1-3-1 with 2 teleports, they get the Baron, and there's no way that KOO can defend as long as the split push is used properly by KT.
Yeah.
Watching KOO wave clear. They want to push wards up to the Baron, but with the pick pressure we've outlined multiple times, it's just too risky to do so. So KOO slowly rotating around, but Baron spawning in a minute. Want to prep for it as early as possible, but so much split pushing to deal with at the same time.
Do you like watching KOO wave clear?
It's very exciting.
It's fun.
It's all they can do.
The way they take out those minions so fast.
They just use that victory.
That's right, victory.
Well,
but not to victory.
Not to victory. Probably not this game, and I'm impressed by KT. The last 2 times that KOO have played arguably Kuro's best champion Victor into them, they've done quite well. They've managed to figure him out.
They do seem to have a response to it. And they catch him here. Equalizer goes down. Someday manages to dodge all the slows. Just skirted on the outside of it for the most part.
It's a really low percentage play from Kuro and KOO. Of course, so many members down the bottom lane. Nagne, instant burst, about a quarter of the health of KOO, and remember, 10 seconds till Baron spawns, and we've still never seen a ward pushed up towards that area from KOO. It's not going to happen when you're sending multiple members without teleport to gank a Fizz.
Yeah, it's like the slow strangulation of the KOO Tigers by KT Arrow.
Well, they're not the Arrows.
KT Arrow and the rest of his team. That's also on KT.
And the Rolsters.
KT and the Arrow and the Rolsters. Oh, goodbye, Gorilla. Oh. What I meant is goodbye, because you're going to walk away and you have your own pivot.
Well, but now with the Equalizer down and the Unbreakable Will down, they can't fight this. There's no way they're getting into the pit without Gorilla getting melted. And they don't have the AoE magic damage to lay down inside the pit itself. There's not really a way they could win a team fight now unless they somehow get some sort of miracle kill onto a member of KT.
But this is the KOO Tigers that KT Rolster would have prepped for the majority of the last 10 days, 2 weeks since they guaranteed that this was going to be their matchup. This is the KOO Tigers that's had mixed results. When they play these Dragon-focused comps with the likes of Rumble, with Kuro on the Victor, with the Trinity Force AD carries, sometimes they take it in the early game, or they have a quiet early game, pick up that objective, and snowball from there. But more often, especially in the second half of the season, this has been the result. It's been the rejuvenation. It's been the new strategies that have really seen the KOO Tigers step up. But they return to the familiar, and the results just don't look great.
No, they don't. And there's the
there
fish. Nice, man.
That's right. He got rabbited.
The receipt for the solo kill in game 1.
Pretty much. Revenge. Revenge is a fish best served cold. Or bunny this time. And, not going to get past Kuro, though. Still a lot of bursts on that Victor, but Baron will go down to KT.
Gorilla?
Gorilla, be the hero, man. Oh, he wasn't. Score gets a Baron anyway. Kind of depressing for the KOO Tigers, but what do you do? I mean, KT got everything they wanted this game, right? They got the picks, they got the map control. They've been able to push that very effectively to what is a longer game. Well, really not even that long of a game, but a very easy win for KT.
Well, they did, and also with the kill on Smeb and the fact that Kuro was seen on the bottom side of the map meant that there was really no damage threat at that Baron. It was basically Prey just trying to throw out some living artilleries, but not having too much of an effect.
Yep.
Every 5 minutes, Someday dies for his team to pick up a Baron. Every 7 minutes, sorry, and it mostly works out.
Every time a Someday dies, a KT gets its Baron. Is that what you're trying to say?
That seems to be what I'm weaving in this particular story.
It's the old adage.
It's actually a fish sacrifice that they offer up to the League of Legends gods in order to secure the might of the purple worm.
Right.
They don't sacrifice anything to kill the majestic dragon, though. That's the 4th one they've added to their collection.
Yeah, man. They've got more dragons than Daenerys Targaryen now. She only had 3. What a noob.
Yeah, who is she? Having the only 3 dragons in the world.
She loses them all the time. Where
Look,
are my dragons?
You need to look out.
Keep better track of them.
You need to look out for when she finally acquires the aspect of the dragon. That's when her rage will
I
really
don't know
be
if it's
palpable.
ever going to happen.
No?
At this point, I'm not.
She caps out at 3.
I'm not going to get my hopes up. Someday, slowed down by the equalizer, but Krill's just going to recall. He's like, nice ult, bro. I'm going to go back to base.
They're having some problems holding this wave quite obviously, and that's going to be the first inhibitor down.
Oh, Fish Hughes Someday hopping over the wall. How in the world did he get over that wall? Did not look like he was going to make it, but he did. Thank you, Grump. And there goes the inhibitor in the bot lane now. Peekaboo taking the long way around, realized he couldn't go through the base gate.
Well, this has been a longer game than the last one, even though we're only 33 minutes in, but no less dominating. KT just playing out the composition properly. They weren't going for, I think, any unnecessary risks in this game. They're affecting the split push in a way they wanted to, just slowly working their way into the enemy base.
I mean, we know how much damage Kuro has, but it would just need to be the absolute perfect team fight for him to really get to use it. I mean, and with Azonia's on Nagne, it's unlikely that they'll be able to blow him up, you know, maybe someday, but really, who's your target going to be?
And for all Kuro's damage, Nagne's an item ahead. Remember, he's 5 item. Diana.
Look on the Gorilla. Get back in by punting away that melee minion.
Diana does incredible damage. We've just never been forced to see a team fight because, I mean, this far ahead, it doesn't really matter. They can opt into team fights. They're over 10,000 gold ahead, but team fighting was never what they picked for. So it's good to see them sticking with their win conditions, even though, realistically, 5v5 would be just fine for KT Rolster.
Yeah, but why even give him that chance? Because that's their only way back in this game, and Someday can just be annoying on the side. He can 1v1 the victor quite easily, and continues to threaten at least some of these Nexus turrets. No more Baron for KT now, so that will make it a little bit more difficult to break the base further.
Oh, the equalizer used again. They get the flash out of Nagne that time.
Flash won't be available for the 5th dragon fight, which KOO invariably are going to have to try and force something around. Still waiting for them to push a ward anywhere. They have 1 pink ward on their blue, and apart from that, anything outside their base gates is just too far away, apparently, for the KOO Tigers.
So why Cottontail Fizz? Why not Cottontail Olaf? I don't know.
That's what you want to see?
He throws axes. What about Cottontail Braum? All the burly
he hops.
He does hop.
Yeah, so does Callista. I guess Fizz sort of hops too, but not as often.
Well, you can't have the Cottontail because it's not sexy enough for Riot Games. It'd have to be like Battle Bunny Callista or something like that. But
I don't know.
The Cottontail Braum would be pretty awesome, I have to say. Just a giant muscular man in a Cottontail uniform hopping around.
That'd be great, man.
AD carry.
I'm surprised it's not already a Taric skin. But we gotta wait. We gotta hold off on the Taric skins until the rework, right?
When its charm is in full effect.
That's right. I can't wait.
If they change Taric's voice, I'm going to be really mad.
They
I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah.
If they give him a charm and change the voice, that just...
How can you possibly improve on perfection, guys?
Exactly.
There's no way to change Taric's voice and have it be a good thing. I state for the record. Let it be known.
They did it with Nasus, and that made me sad, so...
Yeah, well, they also completely changed Nasus' character. He's not like a space dude anymore. Now he's like a dude that was just in the desert for a while.
I still lock in my Stargate SG-1 skin.
Yeah, of course. That was way cooler.
He's not a space guy, he's a desert guy.
That's right. Space guys are way cooler because they're from outer space.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know about space guys in OGN. I don't think space guys have been playing very well recently.
Well, I mean, he has his up and downs, that's for sure, but I don't know, space. He'll never be gone, though. He's always going to be on CJ, even like long after League of Legends is gone. He's going to be like sleeping on the coach's couch or something like that.
Who will last longer, Space or Lilac?
Ooh. Oh, that's a tough question, actually.
Well, Space has a while to go.
Probably Space.
He has a while to go to beat Lilac at this stage.
Season 1 of OGN was represented, been there since.
I think Space is ready to, or Lilac is ready to move into like a coaching role, probably in China. But
you say that, but he's still playing top lane.
I know.
And jungle.
I don't know how that happens. He plays pretty much anything. Is he still the only player that's played every role?
He hasn't played every role
I thought he did.
No.
I thought he actually did have one game at least. He's never played mid, right?
AD.
AD? I thought he did play AD.
And that's why he can't retire.
Okay, I guess so. You solved it. I get it now.
You think with Sunstar, Raw, and Paragon that he wouldn't be needed in the AD carry role?
We got to put Lilac in there.
They got to find a way. Sub in Lilac.
That's right. Well, KOO pushing up. They know this 5th Dragon is happening for KT, and this is it, the moment of truth. Either KOO wins a massive team fight here or it's over. I think the engage is coming. KT pushing KOO back. Diana coming from the side, going in, getting a big ult, getting a big knockback. Activating that Zonia's early. Gorilla going back in again. Here we go. KOO turning it around. That was an early engage from Nagne. Is KT going to pay for this here? Arrow completely unopposed, but that's 2 kills for Prey already. KT somehow turning that fight around. Nagne went in a little bit too early, and man, KT paid for it. Oops.
Well, you just play to your win condition right there, right? You don't want to 5v5 them. There still is an outside risk. They're going to lose that 5th Dragon.
That's big.
And with the inhibitor back up right now, maybe a little bit problematic, but even though Nagne got into the middle and hit a nice moonfall, there really wasn't any follow-up damage.
You go right for Baron here, because it's still some time until KT's back up again.
There's no way for Score to react to it. KT, Sunday's still there. He has teleport. He could have gone back and spent some gold and teleported back in.
All right. Kuro and Prey are going to need to be careful. Sunday could just come in and blow him up, and that's what he's going to try to do. He's got his ult. Prey trying to slow him down. There we go. Ult pushing onto Gorilla. Nice block there. Okay, Baron getting lower. Sunday kills Gorilla. Rek'Sai takes Baron. KOO gets it. They win the team fight. They take the Dragon. They take the Baron, but they are still so far behind. Can they possibly come back? Let's watch that team fight. Nagne goes in very early, it seems like.
You see the value of 2 exhausts.
Oh, Gorilla's so good.
The double exhaust just shut down Nagne, lived through the Zonia's, died instant. The equalizer was on point as well.
Yeah, the turnaround, Gorilla just preventing Smeb to get in there while they chained the exhausts back to back.
Wow, Gorilla was just Sunday's worst nightmare in that team fight. He kept him out the entire time.
Did the same thing around Baron, sacrificed himself just to stop Sunday from getting into the back line.
Yeah.
Or onto Prey as well. Heroic stuff from Gorilla. Remember, still professionally undefeated on Alistar.
He's been the hero so far in the later stages of this game, but KOO still has quite a ways to go if they want to win this one.
KOO needs to stay this far behind or improve their situation and get that Infinity Edge onto Prey. That's the kind of big timing we're waiting for. Picked up a BF sword out of that team fight. If he turns that into an Infinity Edge, Arrow will remember the solo carry performance he could do the last time these 2 teams faced in Game 2 when he carried as the big Kog'Maw and the Juggernaut comp. So that's the item timing. KOO really need to extend this game and find an even team fight with Prey with an Infinity Edge on top of the items he's already assembled.
Man, this would be such an incredible comeback, because if they're able to come back, this would be as big as when KT came back against KOO in their last match.
Yeah, would be pretty devastating. They've got a long ways to go.
Oh, yeah.
And the cusp of 5th Dragon is going to make it very difficult.
There's a turret. Oh, and there's a back door as well. Someday taking out the inhibitor down in bot. Oh boy, KOO needs to do something. Will they push in the mid lane because they know they've got the 5v4?
They have Alistar, they could look for a dive if he tanks it up.
Could. They're going to go for it. They want to trade inhibitor for inhibitor. Fizz recalling right now. KT might try to fight this. Will they lose their inhibitor though? Origin a bit low in health. Inhibitor so low. Peekaboo comes in for the play, gets a couple people. Nagne comes in as well. KOO blows him up though. Doesn't even get to use his Zonias. And there goes the Inhibitor. Nagne done for a minute. KOO pushing ahead. I think they're going to try to win this one right here. I don't know if they can, man. Arrow still does some damage. Someday still a big problem as well. KOO needs to win it here. I think it's now or never. Peekaboo throws a hook out, doesn't get it, but here comes the Baron minions. KOO, can they possibly win this one? There goes one Nexus turret. Someday slowed down, locked up. Good zoning from Smeb. Score trying to keep KOO away. They're getting low health. Ult used onto Smeb without a lot of recovery. Nagne, 28 seconds until he comes back. They have to back away. They're getting too low. Peekaboo could come in with a big play here. Misses his death sentence, so Score trying to get a cocoon. Misses that as well. Oh, gets so low, but blocks a lot of the damage from Peekaboo's shield. Someday back in action now. Looks like KOO's going to get away. Man, that was close.
3 Baroned up cannon minions were doing so much work onto those turrets. They get down one, the other one's going to heal up, that's fine. Some very nice casual sidestepping from Prey ensures he's not caught on the back end. But this game, it was one side to the point where we were talking about all manner of things, and suddenly KOO have found that they're very much way into this game.
Oh, we knew this series was going to be close.
It is going to be very close to the degree that Peekaboo has now picked up a Banshee's Veil. Wow. Now remember that a lot of the damage coming in from KOO is magic. That's why Arrow has a Hex Drinker here too. So with some more itemization, but just taking a look at this right now, I mean, Peekaboo has to flash out of that little engagement, but Nagne just dies instantly. The focus from KOO, so quick.
Well, KOO can just turn and just insta-give him, and that's exactly what we saw.
And look, if they don't hit a skill shot, that's their initiation. It's Nagne, very, very tanky, has the Zonias, initiating, trying to buy time for the other threats to find an angle. But if he gets interrupted and dies instantly, I mean, KT 4v5 almost had to watch their Nexus was taken after being ahead for, what, 35 minutes of this game?
Something like that.
The Inhibitor trade was really important for KT, though, that backdoor, because it was the super minions coming out of the Nexus that probably made it so that KOO couldn't just outright win that game.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, Dragon in less than a minute. This would still be the 5th Dragon now for KT if they can take it, but KOO in a much better position to fight this than they were.
Infinity Edge is completed. Suddenly Prey, if he lives, KOO Tigers should win a fight.
That's huge. All right, they're going to push up the mid lane. They want KT to be occupied there rather than go for that Dragon. I mean, really anyone on KT could solo it, but that leaves a 4v5. KOO could just push ahead and maybe win.
Yeah, there's no threat, though, and the super minions coming into that bottom lane are a big question mark. We're going to see Smeb try to, or Someday rather, try and flank right here.
Will. If they catch wind of this, though, they left a ward behind them. Very smart.
They did not spot him, though. There was no vision on him. It was smart of them to leave a ward, as you mentioned. They're going to back away towards the Dragon. This is Dragon denial rather than Dragon acquisition for the KOO Tigers.
That's right.
They finally see Someday with the tremor sense.
Yep, that's right. Prey zoning him out. They get the position onto the Dragon. Dragon come up. There's a teleport for Someday. He's going to try for the back door. Actually, that was Nagne that teleported in. They grab Gorilla. Is there going to be a fight? Big knockup. Someday trying to get the back lines. Gets exhausted. They will take him out. Nagne going towards the Nexus right now, though. Oh, Smeb goes back. He fights Nagne. There's the Zonias, but it doesn't matter. Nagne cannot. Oh, Zonias from Smeb. Who's going to win it? Nagne comes back in. He gets the kill. And now the base vulnerable for KOO Tigers. Can Nagne end it? Right now, they tried to recall. Recall from Gorilla was successful. Can he stop Nagne? I don't know. Pulverizes his headbutts away. There's the other ability use. Gorilla trying to stop him. Can he do it? Nagne hacking away at the Nexus. A grab onto Prey mixes. Nagne's still so low. He's got that shield. The Nexus, he gets it. KT ties it up. What a backdoor. What a game from KT.
Game. Man, that was so close. KT ends it with 3 players flashing red as they try to just split push the victory. Man.
And that was only game 2, guys. That was just game 2.
Credit to Nagne for understanding that the 5v5 was just not working for them. Teleported away. This is what Diana can do with the Nashors too. So damn tanky. The 1v1 against the Rumble, the amount of reverse burst damage that Diana could do to win that trade was insane after the Zonias. And isn't it exciting that it's all